welcome. Today we're going to be doing project number four in our Time of Giving class. It's been a fun class. I've enjoyed it more than I thought I would even. Awesome dies. That's one of the reasons I liked this class. And nice stamps too. So let's get started on our project number 4. It's a Christmas card. It says Merry Christmas Cheer throughout the year, but you could put anything else in there that you want. It doesn't have to be from this stamp set, but I think this is cute. So let's get our kits, and I will give dimensions as we go along so that if you don't have the kit, you can make it with us. And it should be a relatively easy card to make. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. So we have lots of goodies in here. I'll explain what they are and where they came from. So of course we have our 8.5 by 5.5 thick basic white cardstock, scored at 4 1/4. So I'll find my little valley crease there, and we'll use our bone folder and crease that fold. And I'm enjoying this cooler weather so much. Now this ribbon that goes around, normally it goes around the cardstock and the DSP. This only goes around the DSP. So we're going to be careful about that. Let me see. I like to measure things. So it looks like this is 1 1/4 inches from the top of the DSP. So each one of these little squares is 1/4 of an inch, so 5 squares down on both sides. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. So I think I'll use my glue because, you know, glue is forgiving. This is such cute paper too, don't you think? It has kitties and doggies on one side, but the other side is really nice Christmas paper. So if you're not into kitties and doggies, which I can't imagine anyone that's not, but you can always just use this for Christmas paper. There we go. Ta-da! So that was 1 1/4 inches from the top. So now we can put our ribbon on there. This seems a little strange, doesn't it? That we're getting to ribbon already. We usually save that for the last. There's my curve, so that's the outside, that's the inside, underside. I'm going to take my snail, my Stampin' seal, and where I know that ribbon's going to fall, I'm going to hit it with some Stampin' seal so that, now this is about, I would say it can be more than 1/8, but not quite 1/4 of an inch, if that makes sense. More than 1/8, less than 1/4, somewhere in there. Now this is going to go on some cherry cobbler, which is beautiful paper for this. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. This is going to go on here like that. Cherry cobbler, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Now I didn't give you measurements for the card, the DSP. So the DSP is 4 by 5 1/4 for the little lights, and then the smaller piece is 2 by 4. So 4 by 5 1/4 and 2 by 4. And you could switch out different papers if you don't have this paper. And this is just a 1/16 of an inch all around. It's a really tight fit there for you. And we can go ahead and put this on the front of our card. Already starting to look pretty, huh? Pretty easy card, I think, if you wanted to do multiples. And we're, you know, at Christmas we do want to send out cards, so if you have a lot of people to send cards to, then this would be a good choice. Now the stamping that we have to do our Merry and Christmas cheer throughout the year. Now I got this Merry and this little piece of, what is this? It is crushed curry. I get crushed curry and bumblebee mixed up sometimes, so I wanted to make sure. So these messages dies is awesome thing. This part right here, so I die cut one of these with the crushed curry, then I die cut one with basic white, and all I did was cut off the little tags on the end, the little flags, and that's how you get this little darling thing here. And of course I gave you two. You only need one, but you know, just in case you have an extra one, they're always nice to have. So we'll be stamping Merry on these. We'll be stamping Christmas cheer throughout the year, or whatever you want on the inside. So let's go ahead and take this and put this on the inside, get it out of the way. It's another piece of cherry cobbler, 4 by 5 1/4, and we'll just go ahead and stick that on the inside so it doesn't get lost or messed up with ink. And then once this is stamped, we can put it on the inside. Now this little thing right here is okay, so we got cherry cobbler. This came from this awesome set here, Scalloped Contours dies, and look at all those fun dies to play with. So if you haven't gotten Scalloped Contours dies, you definitely want to get them. This one right here, the second smallest, is what I used for that cherry cobbler. Okay, then another set you want to be sure to get are the stitched rectangle dies. Look at all those dies that you get to play with. So that's where that came from. Then we have a Pool Party, which is the second smallest. So this would be the smallest. This is the second smallest in Pool Party. That's where that die came from. And then we have another piece of crushed curry with the smallest stitched rectangle die. Okay, that's where that came from. And then we have one in cherry cobbler. So two of those, the smallest stitched rectangle die. So these are fun to play with, and definitely want to get this set if you don't have it. Now we do have some die cutting, so let's go ahead. Here's a little bow that's going to go on here when we're done, and guess what? I tied the bow for you because this is a tiny, tiny bow. And I know some of you struggle with bows, so I was thinking I would be nice and make that bow for you. So all you have to do is put some glue on there, and it's little glue dots on the back, and bam, you're done. Okay, so this little die here, this cute thing, we're going to use that right now with our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And here it is. So cute, so cute. And it comes with plates. It comes with plate 1 and then a plate 2. We're going to die cut this cherry cobbler. So you're just going to kind of put it inside that stitching and even all around. I'm going to take some of my infamous or famous or whatever Scotch removable tape. I love this stuff. I got it. You can get it at Amazon or Office Depot. You have to put it on this, but Scotch removable tape, it's cheaper to buy it in 2-pack. And I'm hoping that's going to stay there in place. What I like about it is it doesn't, once you run it through your machine, it doesn't tear your cardstock. A lot of times if you use regular tape, it definitely will tear your cardstock. And sometimes if you use even, what's it called? Whoops, there goes my die. That washi tape will even sometimes tear your cardstock. So this I think maybe one time it has disappointed me, but that might have even been my fault. I don't know. But it's sticky, but not sticky. Kind of like sorry, but not sorry, not sorry. Sticky, not sticky. It's awesome. Okay. So there's my die. It has a lot of little pieces inside here, so you might want to get your die brush and go over it gently. And if it curls, anytime something curls, just turn it around and uncurl it like so. Ta-da! So cute. So I'll put these aside. Put everything aside now. We're done with our die cutting. Put my die away. I've learned my lesson. Always put your die away. Okay, so now this is ready to go on here. See, that's perfect. And so let's just go ahead and do that. Looks like we're going to be doing our stamping last. Hope that's okay with you guys. Tiny little dots of glue. Don't need a lot because we know that this glue is awesome and it does the job. I'll let you take a peek. See, not a lot there. Gonna go on top of our crushed curry. Then this is gonna go on top of our pool party. Put that in the center. Center it. That's why glue is so good. It gives you a chance to eyeball it and make sure you like the way it looks. Then this is going to go on cherry cobbler. So fun. It's like putting together a puzzle. And a lot of the work's done for you. So check out my website, www.carolbcrafts.com, and see what current class kit I'm offering with as a customer reward with a qualifying purchase. Now this is going to go on with mini dimensionals, not mini, but mini, M-I-N-E, mini dimensionals actually. So all I did is I know that's where I want it, so I'm going to flip it over. I don't want to put any dimensionals over the ribbon. That is what I'm looking for, just to make sure that doesn't happen. I flipped it over. And then some down here. I love dimensionals. Now if you're mailing this, you might have to pay extra, I don't know, because of the ribbon. And it looks pretty flat. Whenever I mail something that has dimension on it, I always put a blank piece of white cardstock over the front before I put it in the envelope. That protects it in mailing, keeps it from getting mangled, and it also helps it to go through the machine easier so that it doesn't get caught, because like this bow could cause the machine to jam, and then it rips your card apart and you've gone to all that trouble for nothing. So always put a piece of white. This is just regular white. This around the same size. This, I would do it probably about the same size as my card, but this is handy to show you. So that's just a little tip. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and take these off, and I don't have the patience to do it one way, so I'm going to do it this way. This is a quick way to do it. Just stab and flick, stab and flick. Okay, so much less stressful. That's going to go about 1/2 inch from the edge of the cherry cobbler there. And it looks like it's kind of even from here to here and from here to here. So even from here to here and here to here, if you're wondering where exactly to place that. Looks pretty, doesn't it? All right, so we just have this to do. And I might have put this over just a little bit too far. Maybe I should have put this on first. I could probably rip that off, but I'm not going to. All right, so yeah, my 1/2 inch was a little generous. Okay, so suggest you put this on first and then that, because I don't, oh, look, I can. One thing I know is to twist, not to pull, but to twist. So one of these little guys stayed behind, but I think he'll be fine. So let me do this. I'm going to put this here, and then I'll put this here. That way I won't be covering him much of it up. There. Luckily I hadn't pushed that down. Okay, so now we have this. I'll just go ahead and I'm saving the Stampin' for last. And this is going to go here. Make sure it's level. Awesome. Okay, stamping coming up. Cherry Cobbler is the color of the day. And random stamp pad there. Now, these I pre-cut for you. If you have the die, you might want to, well, I would suggest you just go ahead and cut it and do this rather than try to stamp and then cut. I would suggest you go ahead and die cut and then cut off the edges and then stamp. Okay, so 4x6 plastic, which we use a lot. And then our Mary stamp right here. Okay, so Mary stamp's going to go there. Cherry Cobbler. I think this is a pretty card, and you can switch out the papers if you wanted a different look. But I like those papers and colors. So I have a piece of scratch paper that I put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on here to hold that in place, so I can slide it under, line it up, way to get it perfectly and not have to worry about mess ups. Okay, Mary. One more time because I like it rich. Rich color. Wipe this off. And set that aside. Clean this Mary off. Now, what's next? Our sentiment. I'm also going to dry that off because that leaves kind of a little bit of liquid there, water, and I just like to dry it off. And then, whoops, come on. Christmas cheer throughout the year, or whatever you're going to use. Put it on our plastic. Ink it with our cherry cobbler. And then this is portrait, so it's going to go this way. It's important. And that looks good. Ink that up. And I know that I need to ink that up a little bit more. And that throughout the year part needs a little help. All right, there we go. Make sure you hear that snap. It means it's closed all the way. Okay, and then clean that off. Clean off the stamp. Cherry cobbler is so pretty. Such a pretty red. I clean it till the foamy stuff is white. That means I got all the ink off. And then I just dry it with my microfiber cloth from my glasses that I bought a few years ago. And again, put my stamp away. Clean as you go. Makes easy cleanup. That's another thing I've learned over the years is you spend a lot of time cleaning if you don't clean as you go. Okay, here's our Mary. Make sure you have no ink on your fingers. I've got stained fingers, but let me make sure. There. Then wipe my fingers on my Stampin' pants. Do y'all have Stampin' pants? Pants that you wear when you stamp? Okay, here we go with the glue. This is going to go right over the top so that all that's showing are the little crushed curry flags. Now inside, get our Stampin' seal over here. Want plenty of room to write a little note. Didn't need this, yay. This is going to go on the front. Now you can decide which side looks better. You want kind of the flatter side to go on the back so that it lies flat. Now I've got that glue on my fingers. We have our, deciding, I like that flatter side in the back. So I'm going to put a couple of glue dots side by side. I think there's room for 2. 1, 2, and then I'm just going to set it here above this in on top of that ribbon and press it down. See, I didn't make you tie that bow. Aren't you glad? Aren't you thrilled? So all we got left now are these are the smallest rhinestone basic jewels, and I've colored them with the dark Pool Party Stampin' blends, dark Pool Party Stampin' blends. I just colored them. And you want to use the bullet tip, this tip here, not your brush tip, because if you use your brush tip, and I just went round and around a couple times, 2 or 3 times, and it colors it, and because this is alcohol ink, it does not rub off once it dries, and it dries really fast. Okay, so 2 at the top, 1 in the bottom corner there. So here we go. This one kind of just above the Y there, and then one right next to it. I find it's easier to do it sideways to get it level. Sometimes anyway. There we go. So there's our 2. And then we want 1 down here underneath the M. That first thing of M. There we go. That's it, ladies. Awesome. And then you have your envelope to mail it in, but don't forget about that piece of white cardstock that you're... All right, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon.